Here's a brief discussion about union. In America, people work 12 hours a day for 7 days a week to try and make a living. In the industrial section, organized union like Central Labor Union rose to fight for better wages, reasonable hours, health benefits, and workplace safety. Unions eventually gave way to Fair Labor Standards Act of 1938, which set an 8-hour workday and overtime pay. It established a 40-hour work week and outlawed the employment of kids under 14. Labor union or trade union is an organization of workers who unite to make decisions about conditions that affect their job. Unions serve as negotiators between employers and employees. They exist to protect and promote member interests such as wages, benefits, and working conditions. They do this by creating the popularly known collective bargaining agreement. It is a contract that's been agreed to by your employer and the union that extends to all employees. It guarantees that the contract is upheld. Here are the things to be considered in managing in a non-unionized environment.
Some employees would rather not have to negotiate with unions because they affect how employees and their workplaces are managed. Let's take a look. Unions are criticized for creating inefficiencies at work, cost waste, and poor performance. Union workers frequently receive higher compensation than non-union workers, but on the flip side, higher paying benefits might be related to longer job tenure and better job performance. If union membership is aligned with organizational goals, some employers seek to build a cooperative relationship with labor unions, while others choose an aggressive adversarial approach. However, there are numerous strategies that can be employed to prevent unionization from occurring in the first place. To remain union-free, organizations must be productive and develop good employment practices, earn employee trust, encourage employee feedback, offer fair competitive compensation, and build support of supervisory relationships with workers. Both HR professionals and operating managers must be attentive and responsive to employees' primary responsibility for dealing with labor unions may fall to HR or line managers, depending on the organization's philosophy and history.
How do managers handle employees under a non-unionized environment? Here's how. Why are there still non-unionized companies? Here are the reasons for maintaining no union status. First, freedom to manage business. Second, maintain competitive posture in the industry. Third, maintain a non-adversarial relations with employees. Fourth, promote a culture of meritocracy in its wage policy. Fifth, divided loyalty among employees. Sixth, no work slowdown, work stoppages, or strikes. How companies stay union-free. Tips to maintain a non-unionized workforce. First, start at the beginning. From the very beginning of employment relationship, let your employees know your opinion on unions and why union would not be right on your organization. Be pro-worker, not anti-union. If employees feel they have a voice at work, they are unlikely to look for union to provide them with one. Supervisors and managers should have an open-door policy that employees can feel they can raise issues without fear of retaliation. Remember the golden rule. We all want to feel that our workers are valued. Make sure that your company has competitive pay practice in place. Run a safe, secure, and fair workplace. Try surveying your employees to learn how they feel about these issues and respond to employee concern. Communicate. Have an interactive communication system in place. Give your employees a voice in decisions that affect them. Explain unpopular decisions. You need to discuss with employees decisions that are unpopular. Explain its importance. Be responsible. Take responsibility for your decisions, both the good and the bad. Have an effective grievance procedure in place. Make sure your employees know how to file a complaint and raise issues of concern. If employees feel that their concerns are heard, they are less likely to turn into a union to be their voice with management. That is all the tip to maintain a non-unionized workforce. However, despite unions being popularly known and seen as safe haven of employees, under Philippine labor situation, the bigger proportion of business enterprises remain union-free. Multinational companies, for example, those operating in Baguio, Clark, Tarlac, Industrial Zone, Cavite, and the rest of the Calabar Zone, Subic, Cebu, and other major cities in the country remain unorganized. Some local banks and pharmaceutical companies remain union-free. What is their secret for remaining union-free? A common denominator among all these companies is they have a well-pronounced union avoidance policy. It is a well-thought-out plan that is deeply ingrained in their corporate culture that they could pay their employees competitive wages and grant above-average benefits, treat their employees fairly and well without the intervention of a third party, meaning a union. To end this video, here is one sentiment of a man who has worked with a union card before and is now under union-free.
Talking about unionized employees. Why do they want them? I mean, really, if you think about it, a union is just costing employees money, right? So why do employees unionize? I mean, really, it's just money coming out of their account. So there has to be a real motivation to want to have a union represent you. In my personal experience, I signed a union card many years ago, and it was a must. I was working for a great company that had one leader. Everybody else was just a basic supervisor with minimal people skills. But this one leader was able to keep 80 employees happy. But this leader had a boss. And that boss, he basically believed if you have a heartbeat and you've got warm blood in you, you can do the job. And you're going to do the job however we say, whenever we say. He was of the mentality, you're lucky to have a job. So fast forward a few months, and this leader got terminated because he wasn't like that. He wasn't like his boss. He wanted to treat people fairly. He wanted you to have fun, enjoy your time, but when push came to shove and work had to be done, he expected nothing but the best. And that's what he got. But because he was such a strong leader, his boss was threatened, in my opinion. So the leader got terminated. Well, from there, everything went downhill. I would say the supervisors that we had were basically bullying the employees. So employees got together and they unionized. You see, sometimes unions get a bad rap because, well, they protect employees that shouldn't be protected in some instances. But in this case, everyone I worked with was frightened for their jobs because it was very much a dictatorship. And if you didn't jump when they said jump, they were handing out write-up. They were handing out verbal warnings. They were handing out suspensions. There was no rhyme or reason as to how issues were dealt with. So the union was brought in. Is there a benefit to a union? Yeah, I'd have to say so. We had many contracts that had to be negotiated, and that's where raises came from, and that's where we got proper language as to how things would be dealt with, the process, who would be in charge of what. I believe the union really helped the company keep their contract. Now you fast forward to today, does that company still need the union? I don't know. For some people, yes. For myself, I can usually speak for myself. I can carry myself well. I typically don't cause any issue. There's no drama. So for me, having a union on a day-to-day probably doesn't make financial sense. But for many other employees, they would definitely want to have a union. You see, companies can avoid employees needing a union if they treat employees fairly, if they look at employees as actual people. When you treat somebody fairly and you're talking to them like they matter and that their opinions matter and that you're concerned about them, their family, their well-being, I doubt you would ever get a 51% to sign union cards. On the flip side, when you treat employees like machines, when you look through your employees, when you don't care what they do, how they do it, you're just looking for a means to an end, well, there's a good chance that given the opportunity, the union is going to come in. Now,